Welcome back, clarifiers. My name is Alexi, and on this channel we talk about how to build a god level confidence. It's not something that happens overnight, but you can definitely get there. Today's video is going to be part 2 of who controls me, who is the real puppet master behind all my actions. And in yesterday's video I was talking about and sharing with you that there's you, the physical person right here, and inside of us is another part of us. This little dude right here, or dudette, okay? Everybody's included in all my content. So there's somebody inside of us that controls what we do. That's typically what people think and feel like. There's oftentimes you'll hear like, or you'll even think about your own life. Sometimes something happens and it's as if a different part of you just jumps out and reacts to something or responds to something. And then after a little while, you look back and you're like, why in the world did I do that? So yesterday, what I shared, part 1, was that for every output, just like the math equations, for everything that we do, there is an equation in our brain. So let me use the red marker here. There is an equation that produces a certain outcome. So if you always find yourself meeting the same person, even if you move halfway across the country, it's just a different name but same character, and you're like, why am I doing this? How am I doing this? Or why am I not confident? Why can't I speak up for myself? Those are all outputs. And I shared with you that it's not the seemingly unknown little person. What's really happening in your brain is that there is an equation. Equation, which means this equation is a definition of an emotion. At some point you had something happen to you, a sensation, or somebody did something to you, and you created a definition out of it. And today what I want to share with you is to take it a little step further in. Oftentimes, when this equation is super powerful and super strong to the point where, like I said a minute earlier, that you just jump out and, oh, marker fell, that part of you just jumps out and just like really nails somebody or yells or screams or does something that surprises you even, or you look back and you're like, what the heck did I do that for? That, my friend, I want to introduce to you a new word. And the new word of the day is character. If your equation is so powerful, as you see, this one is very simple basic math. A plus B equals C. The older we get, the stronger, the more complex these equations get. And in one of my future videos, I'm going to show you what is the actual full equation, which is algebra. We're talking about signs that look like this, which is a mathematical sign. Signs that look like this are part of that equation. Not just addition or subtraction, not just upgrading to multiplication or division. We're talking about this plus this and this right here. This is the kind of equation we have in our brain. And so when our equations are at this level and we've really defined an experience, this is what happens, guys. Once it becomes a solid, proof, bulletproof, ironclad kind of equation, and you always react or respond in a certain way to a certain stimulus or situation, guess what? This is what I call a character, okay? It actually becomes another you, which is this little guy right here, okay? So if you find yourself doing the same thing all the time, you know that this little you, it's a character. There is your like core self, who you really are, who you know you are. You're this chill, cool person. And then when something happens, this part of you just pops out for a moment and then goes back into the background again, and then you come back out. And so we can have a lot of different characters in us. And please do not confuse this with, there's a spectrum, and the spectrum kind of looks like this. There is the, say, multiple personality disorder, or actually they call it the DID. dissociative identity disorder. There is bipolar, and all these where there's like different characters. I'm not a psychologist, so these are just, there's a spectrum on where people are have these psychological challenges in them. Characters, I'm not talking about that there's like this other entity in you. What I'm talking about is this equation is so solid, so powerful that it pops out and a different you is exhibited. That's a character, okay? And you can have all kinds of characters. For example, you can have a money character. So when the subject comes around money, guess what? Either you shy away or you become this monster or beast, or it might not affect you at all. If you're around a certain person, this other side of you comes out. Like, I have two awesome friends, my best friend from Massachusetts and my best friend from Albany, New York. When I'm around them, I just get super silly. And I'm just like, where is this from? And so that's just one of my characters. When I'm around my family, I'm a little different. When I'm around my friends my age, I'm a little different. When I'm around business people, there's different characters for different situations. And a lot of times we created these characters to protect us. And they helped us, and it helped us being like this, thinking like that, at some point in our life, or we thought it did. But now, going forward, it no longer serves us. And so what we need to do is go through this process that I share with people called the synthesization process. And the way you spell it is synthesization. Yes, I did make up that word, and what this process is being able to tap into figuring out what are those equations in my mind that created these different characters that are taking over me. When you learn how to figure out what these equations are, you're able to tap into those old definitions that you made, and once you understand them, create new definitions, new names, guess what? Then this person, or that character of yours, instead of being two separate things, guess what? It ceases being a separate thing, and now you just become one whole person from that subject, or pertaining in relation to that subject matter. So I want to encourage you guys to learn this process, synthesization. I made up the word and I still have a challenge saying it. But hey, if you can say synthesization 5 times in a row, then good for you, good for you. Give it a try. Synthesization, okay? So in the following videos, in tomorrow's video, I'll share a little bit about the equation itself and how it looks, and how most of us start with A plus B equals C, and right now the equation looks more like boom divided by like C, this, D, and all that stuff. It's pretty complex. And we'll start learning the actual process and what it looks like. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.